Well, hello everyone. Here to show you, the 8 times 8. It's like kind of activity right here, talking about, for computers, and basically that you're talking about. It's like, for most like process, for computers. If we're talking about, for 8, and knowing that if anybody were to do the math, it's like, it took me maybe a few seconds, and then I know I was close to where I think I counted off, 8 times 5 or something like that, but then. I guess it was about 48, something like that, but then it's like you did calculations for 64. But you see right here is the way I would usually work the math right here is I would use these little counting circles, and I guess if you want to call them groups like I mentioned before. But this right here is talking about like for any kind of computers, if it's going to be maybe smart watches or tablets or something like that. But let's just say on average that if we had about, it's like from 8 cents to about $8, and that you have right here for 8, 8 times 8, and then basically means it's like you have right here is like for 8, so that would mean about 4 pennies right here, and then 1 nickel, and then as well as $8 bills right here. But you see right here is like you got 8 right there and then 8 right there, but then one of them of course will be smaller. So it's like you have right here is 8 cents. About how much would that equal to? Like just to be able to equal to about if we were to actually do the mathematical fraction here is like the mathematical problem to where that that a lot of these math problems are here. It just kind of came within a matter of seconds before I came up with this idea. This idea came up with is to gather up some pocket change compared to these digits right here between $2,299 and even, as well as $5,915, and as well as $1.50 in yellow. And if we were, have some little bit of fun with, like, say, with math, is like if we would do the calculations right here, to where this kind of reminds me of a story to whenever I, would go, computer shopping, and like, a lot of times, especially in the catalogs, that I would see the ads, in the paper, like in these catalogs, and I can always, especially like other, retail stores, that I would go there, and then. The next thing you know, it's like I would go there to the store, and then I'm like, look at the prices to those. And one of the reasons why I want to do this activity right here is basically talking about is like for prices, to where that that if we were to get an estimate for computers, though, that there may be a few of them that you may have seen at the store that you may have liked, and then thinking that maybe that they were just too expensive or just couldn't afford it at the time. And then a few things that maybe that you want to have, and knowing about each time that you go shopping, that I remember that knowing about the computers, to where that it's like how much they were, to where that now since going to college, and then just thinking about the things that more likely that you need, the things that more likely be paid for, and then the things that I would have to pay for separately. But let's just say on average that if I were to go pick out a computer, and then they would have like a few extra features, such as one of them that has about 2 hard drives, and the other one that has about maybe about 4 or 5 or so different USB connectors along with a headset or something like that. So you got these desktop computers right here, and then as well as like the laptop designs. So whenever we go to the store, and then you look at the computers, and I'm using a computer as an example, because one of those, it's like that thinking about if we were to think about that going to computer shopping, and a lot of times that we may think that the most expensive one is always going to be the best. And I kept thinking about that really that if we would actually do the math from 8 times 8, to where if we wind up paying about maybe a fifth times more for something. Let's just say if we find a computer in the store, and it's a little bit more expensive compared to another kind, and we may think that well, it's more likely it's going to be a better quality one, or that you have more features. But I don't know, anybody who were to go computer shopping and thinking about that, exactly about maybe what they need first before. for most of us, an understanding about, say, for 8 times 8 is that, whenever we buy a computer, if most of us, for, maybe younger kids, that they want to have their experience, or as well as maybe it's like, to get their, parents, working out with their parents. But basically, that the understanding about that with computers, though, that whenever we go to the store and actually look at them, and they looks like that they look like some pretty good, cool looking devices, which I'm sure that anybody that more likely think that you would, whenever I was a kid, that you used to always think that whenever I was first in the seeing the computers, it was at the schools, and thinking about, you want to get your own computer. Well, good luck saving up your money, and good luck, for the purchase. But I know that anybody who's younger the age of 15, if they would, quite understand about the basics about, their first experience to whenever they do buy a computer, that knowing about, that it's really that not all that bad really for whenever if we want to go out and buy a computer. It's like if it's a laptop, or if anything related to a PC or a Macintosh, or maybe a Kindle or something like that. That knowing that you're going to more likely have it to where that they for you go into the store, and then you want to make a choice to where if you want one with 2 hard drives, or maybe with 1 hard drive and maybe a few connectors, or something like that. And a lot of times it seems like that for the prices, though, that if one computer is marked for at least I would say on average about for $576.86, and then the one with 1 hard drive will more likely be marked as 435 or so 86, and plus whenever they do, like say, for data transfers, and as well as if you want one with the all-in-one included PCs, something like that. So it's like in a lot of ways that for like if we would actually do the math counting to where that knowing about really that we may think that $8 $8 right here is not going to be enough to buy a computer. For most of us, like we need to save more money, but then let's just say if we were to multiply that maybe times 25, let's just say that if we give you if we were to wait maybe 90 days, if we were say wait about maybe 90 days, see how much money that maybe we can save up in 90 days, just to see how much we save up. And it might be surprising that now I know nowadays that even for like around Christmas time that special holidays, to where if it's going to be a special sale, to where that we may find some of those real if you call it the top buys, to where if we're going to maybe see about maybe between 50% off on a lot of the products, and it's like between 50 and 60% off or so on the buys, and as well as for 30% off. So it's like for any buys that we have that we see that and especially in the catalogs, if we have a catalog to where it talks about that hey, that for like a special buy, say $385.89 on this this computer, this Macintosh or something, and then next thing you know, it's like that you're like wondering that well, it's like for maybe we come to that situation to where that we don't know if we had the money yet, or that type of stuff, whichever the reason is. And thinking that really I'm like, if we need it for class reasons, or if we need it for work or something, and for study hour, and knowing about, let's just say that if anybody would think about, well, maybe the deposit, if the deposit were to be about $8, and I say, yeah, well, how much more likely would 8% more likely be? So it's like if we were to actually work the math right here, to where if it's if it's 8 cents to $8, if we would actually work the decimal, say for math right here, and like for 30 days. So if like, would that be like for adding and subtracting, and then along with that, say for any type of division problems or anything like that. But let's just say on average that with $8, just like for 30 days, and I would probably say that would be on average, if we were to calculate that 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 would be about 130. I would just say about $138. So it's like that about that much money right there. More likely, they say that that's about how much money that more likely that we would maybe pay for, like if you for taxes, or if it's going to be like if you want extended warranty with the computer, that type of stuff. But a lot of things that more likely about buying a computer that maybe some kids that may not understand either, such as that if we either think about get a computer, and they say for like the keyboard shortcuts, control plus R, for like say it's like a for control C or something like that, for control copy, for control R, and like for control R, I guess that means like for for like for edit, or if it's or it's like any other type of short, for shift control R, and but right there you have right there is like for I think with the Mac it's just a little bit different, but on your hand I'm like so it's like the way I'm drawing these and thinking about it's like going if I were to think about talking about the keyboard shortcuts and the prices to the to the computers, but on your hand, if it's between telephones and calculators, those type of items, and thinking about that, that if when we go shopping, a lot of times it seems like at the time that the most expensive one is the best. If anybody thinking about most expensive, and I can remember that that whenever DVD players first came out, I can remember that quite a few people were probably looking at the most expensive one, maybe the Blu-rays. It's like that they have like maybe a 4 or 5 disc changer, CD changer, something like that. But then on average, that with the computers though, that with the ones that are going to be most expensive, that knowing about if it's going to be 8 times 8 to where that that for whenever we buy one, and then that we may expect to where that you buy one for quite some amount of money, and then the next thing you know, it's like that you expect it to maybe last for about maybe 2 or 3 years at the most, and have so much. But if we were to actually do the math, that we may think that go out shopping, and then like well, there's got to be some differences about this product, especially if one's going to be about maybe $15 more expensive compared to another one. But then maybe not everybody could explain that either, to why one of them is a little bit more expensive, because most of us would know, like with a laptop, it's compatible. A laptop is portable, you can take it anywhere you like, compared to a desktop. But then knowing about, let's just say with the laptop, a laptop, if we find one for about if we find a laptop for about $485, especially around the holidays, if we for a special buy for about $485 compared to desktop right here, including the keyboard, the monitor, and then along with that the tower right there, system tower, and then along with the printer, we may be talking about close to about $875 to maybe the payment could go up to about $1,985.99, something like that. So on average, that if we would actually work the math right here, to where whenever we see these digits and thinking about that, wow, I'm like, that I don't know if I'm going to have enough, to just to be able to save up for this, because do the actual calculations for how long it would take just to save up. But on the other hand, that knowing about that if we were to say that really about if we had about $8 to start out with, from $8 times 1,000. So 1,000 more likely would be, it's like if that's going to be maybe 1,000 hours or maybe 1,000 days, and be like, how many 1,000 days? I would say about that would be about 4 years, something like that. I don't know if it's really going to take that long, to be honest with you. I'm like, for 1,000 days or 1,000 hours, that would equal to about 4 years. That on average, that it would be about take that about that long just to save up just for a computer, but then to work it out for like the special buys to where that I'll just say that within about maybe 3 days, maybe we can find a special buy for a certain if it's going to be a discount or something like that, and as well as a few other calculations. But anyway, but you have right here is like with these computers, and basically that it's like if a few of them are like say you're covered by anything it's warranties or any type of special packaging or anything like that. But the way I think about those is like for 8 times 8 is knowing about ways to how to find out if you got your money's worth out of that product. But other than that, talk about right here and say for 8 times 8 collectivity. If we were to work the math of knowing about if we were to go up into the store or maybe go shopping online, and then we were to find a variety of about maybe 10 different models and designs. And whenever I was a kid, I used to always see a lot of these catalogs in the paper and just thinking about how much money I had to work with, and thinking about, that it seemed like that they were a little bit, too expensive. And especially that, anybody who is under the age of maybe 11 years old, and like, hey, that, I could, be lucky that like if you'll be given one. I'm like, maybe you'll be able to buy a used computer or something. But now it seems like that they've gotten a little bit affordable, and if I'm talking about that, I don't know if I call if we multiply 8 times 8 times if we would add it all up, or if it was maybe a certain refund check or something like that, or if it's any type of refund is like for bonus buys or anything like that. And if we were thinking that hey, that for how much something cost to how much we're trying to save up for, and thinking that how is it going to be able to get worked out? Really good question. But on your hand, that they more likely say maybe some banks that may say if you do a portion of the math to where if you were to actually do the calculations to where how much we're willing to save up for, and then the willingness to where that and you go out and buy a computer, and then you get some ideas for what you like to work out with, and then they may say that do you pay a separate shipping and handling charge, that type of stuff, and more likely I'm sure it'll be fine. But other than that, like talking about, I'm like, really, is the most expensive always going to be the best? Well, really, that I just really think that with the computers to where that whichever one that you can afford, and then whichever one that you need, and then maybe a few things that you want to. But anybody that may wonder that really almost every computer that you buy nowadays is going to have something that you're gonna need no matter what. I'm like, really, no matter if the laptop, it's like the laptop that don't have a built-in camera, and with the laptop here, it's only about let's just say it's only about certain only about maybe 18 or so, maybe 80 gigabytes or something like that of memory, and let's just say that if the computer does crash or something like that, and like have always say with the warranty and work it out by that. But other than that, like I talk about say for 8 times 8, it's like to say collectivity.